When I was a teenager, I was browsing randomly online one night when I stumbled across an experiment called Rat Park. I read that hundreds of rats were put in a cage to live for a few months. Some were isolated, some lived with other rats. And there were two water drippers. One had regular water, the other was laced with morphine. I read that the rats in isolation went straight for the morphine and didn't stop. But the rats in the more social environment seemed to prefer the regular water. And the rats which started in isolation, then later joined the others, mostly kicked their addictions and went for the regular water. Then I probably got bored and clicked on a cooking video. It's easy to laugh at the rat. It's so simple to us as humans. Pick the addiction or the social life. But the thing I think about all the time now, today, is that the catalyst for the rats to decide their future is change. They need to see what else life has to offer. And they have no idea until a gloved hand pushes them towards that knowledge. Looking back today, I'm shocked at how thin the line was between myself and the rats I laughed at. The internet was my Skinner box, and it was home. I'd pull the lever, not knowing why, not even knowing if I wanted to. Click, scroll, click, scroll. I'm not here to make some grand statement about finding a better life or offer some groundbreaking research. I'm not an expert in something, unless you count YouTube. I'm here because I've experienced a new wave of generational challenges firsthand, and I want to give it my voice. The place we're in for TEDx today is my home, the Blue Mountains. I was born here, raised here. I went to school here. By some horrible decision, I commuted to university from here. That was 5 hours on the train each day. A few years ago, I got a job here as a journalist at my local paper. And I can tell you honestly that until my work pushed me out into my community, until that gloved hand intervened, I knew nothing about where I lived. I grew up with the rise of Facebook. I was part of my high school's first trial group to receive iPods and iPads for learning. I was constantly connected with friends through gaming and online chats. We went to hangouts and bars around home, but we found the best ones through online reviews, and we took the quickest routes there thanks to travel planners. The way I saw my home in my mind began to solidify. It was like walking through a dense forest. I took the easiest paths, which I'd been told about, and the untouched areas around them became overgrown with disuse. The Blue Mountains in my mind were more like the Grey Mountains, a vast spire of nothingness, thinly veined with the things I knew about. Where to get the best lunch, the best coffee, the best movies, the best hangout spots. Because as we know, that's how the internet works. It finds the best stuff for you. No effort required. I had no drive to explore more. Why would I? For a chance at something interesting? I knew the perfect way to find something interesting. Boot up social media and start scrolling. Curated, targeted content to entertain me for hours, and I didn't even need to think about it. Fast forward a few years, and I got my job at my local paper, the Blue Mountains Gazette. I remember what I was thinking on my first week. Oh no, how am I going to find enough to write about? I knew my home, right? Interesting here was a new pizza place where the old pizza place used to be. I was sure there was nowhere near enough happening to fill a paper. Those next few months blindsided me harder than I've ever experienced in my life. I discovered talented creative minds, top-level athletes, life-saving volunteers. I saw events attract people from across the country, initiatives that have changed my home for the better, groups creating spaces to fulfill any and every passion, and I hadn't known anything about it. But what struck me the most was that after years of just passively accepting anything that passed the time, I saw pathways for the things I care about ready for me to jump in. I saw opportunity. I love movies, and I used to just talk about them online. Since starting work, I've met and spoken with some of the most talented filmmakers I could imagine that live and work minutes away from me. I've seen a local project, Mountain of Youth, help kids pour their creative energy into making their own films, which have all been fantastic. I've been able to chair a Q&A for an independent film screening at my local cinema. I love writing stories, and I used to just fill a page on my PC and forget about it. Since starting work, I've discovered competitions and publishing opportunities, providing pathways to a future in the career. I've seen countless workshops held across my region every day to help people pick up and improve their writing. I've written more than ever myself to apply for Varuna, the National Writers' House, which happens to be here in the Blue Mountains. And I've been able to meet local writers and ask them the questions that I have as an aspiring author. The craziest part is that the whole time I was discovering just as much potential for other interests. Sports clubs sending members as far as the Olympics. Meetups for lovers of nature, history, cars, cooking, eating, card games. And so many groups that just want to help people who need support in any part of their lives. This rush of knowledge about my home, it's still growing today. I see deeper into the area around me, but I'm still surprised by another new opportunity each week. And it's become my privilege to share that with the people of my home through writing about it for my work. But standing here today, I'm not speaking as a journalist. I'm speaking as that kid who would never have found any of this, who would still see home as a grey, blurry mess without the luck I've had. My generation and the next generation have had our brains conditioned in a way that just hasn't been seen before. Technology brought us convenience, and we've been curated to reach for that convenience. The best place for lunch becomes the only place for lunch. But as someone that grew up through this, my biggest realization wasn't about the tech. It was about what I'd missed out on. There is so much around us that speaks directly to who we are as people and can help us grow. It just doesn't always get served to us on a blue screen. It needs us to take a step and look for it. It needs us to intervene. I'm lucky enough that work turned out to be my intervention. The gloved hand found me. But you might need to make your own intervention. My hope today is to encourage even one person to take that step into local community, not to undergo that life-changing transformation, just to detach from routine for 15 minutes and look at the opportunities close to home. Just 15 minutes. It's so simple, but I missed it my whole life until I was forced to find it. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever interests you have, there is a place for you closer than you think, and it has more to offer you than you can fathom. If your passion is art, go for it. There are so many workshops held every day to help you learn something new and develop your craft. You can even land in a local exhibition and see your work on the wall. If you're into sports, have a look at your local clubs. You'd be shocked at just how far they can take you towards the highest levels of competition. If you care a lot about an issue, political or ethical, there's really likely a group that meets near you and they only care about that one thing. It's a much better experience than a 10-page argument on Twitter, trust me. My practical advice, look for every source of local information you can. Visit your council's websites. A lot of them actually look pretty good now. Pick up that tattered local paper or magazine that you keep seeing at your favorite cafe. Check those daggy community notice boards around your nearby towns. And ask your friends and family, acquaintances, the people around you, if they know something for that thing you like. Since I opened with Rat Park, I want to close with another weird concept, an anti-library. It's from a book called The Black Swan by Nassim Taleb. The idea is that a good library is filled with mostly unread books. It's a visual reminder of what we don't know. We judge by what we know, but the link that connects us to what we don't is curiosity, an appreciation of the unknown and its possibilities. In a world that decides for us what we will see as we flick our finger on a screen, it was pure luck that I discovered the value of what I didn't know about my hometown. And it's what lets me encourage people in similar situations to take that step into local community. Don't wait for the gloved hand like I did. Be curious. There is more in your hometown than you could ever imagine. Thank you.